GOGI, learn GOGI tools, real lessons to live by.
Hi, everyone. This is Carolyn. I'm known as GOGI Mom Carolyn, and you are now watching a Getting Out by Going In Zoom video. And now I will turn it over to GOGI Coach Taylor.
Hi, everybody. Today is going to be a little bit different. We may have people joining us in this meeting, but I wanted to take this opportunity just to talk a little bit deeper with the individuals who are in this meeting about where they have been with GOGI, where they're going with GOGI, what they see, what the vision is. And first of all, I want to ask Coach James. Coach James, earlier before we started recording this, you said, hey, did you talk to one of our coaches because he tested dirty, he's been using, and now he's doing this. Talk to me about reality check. 10 steps forward, 2 steps back is still 8 steps ahead, because sometimes if an individual is released from a setting of confinement and they use again, well, a lot of times they just OD, and it's a very, very tragic death that they meet. But what happens when somebody fails to measure up to everything they were dreaming about for all the years of their incarceration? Tell me what goes through the mind of somebody who's waited that long for freedom and then has a misstep. Talk about that for a moment. Reality check and the real world out here.
Okay, well, hi. So, yeah, well, I think for the GOGI coach, I think the way that the GOGI coach responded to me this morning after testing positive and being moved and everything, that I think that his ability to claim responsibility, accept ownership, not try to deny, kind of let go of any control and going where they're placing him, I think is ultimately the best thing, because resources and this and that. So how reality check works is, even at, there's going to be things that happen, and it's kind of like how we respond to these things, and then look at, don't let this one misstep or this 2 missteps really just send you back into the deep end. It's giving you an opportunity to sort of stop, assess, look at how much progress you are making. And that's the thing I like about GOGI too, is the emphasis on today, right now, not what happened yesterday, not what happened last week. Saying right now, can my next decision be a good decision? So that's how I see him responding. I know it's a difficult situation. You jump right into the emotional part of your brain, your old habit part of your brain. You become defensive. People will make assumptions. They start to say, oh, I knew this or I knew that. And, believing in yourself, looking at the situation for what it is, and, understanding you do know how to move forward with positivity. So
I have one question for you. Can you recall a time in the last 72 hours where you had to pull one of those GOGI tools out of your hat and you had to use it? Can you think of a time in the last 72 hours where, thank heavens, I had my GOGI tool?
Oh, absolutely. My father's been hospitalized this week, and being on the phone with him while they were taking him to the hospital, I was actually belly breathing. I was blowing into the phone, trying to give him breath. I went to visit him. He's in a kind of a depressed state. I was telling him, like, a little positivity goes a long way. Or also, where is the fight? What do you want to do right now, today, tomorrow, the next day? Let's stop worrying about how you didn't do this and you haven't done that, and it's too late for this and it's too late for that, because it's really not. You know what I mean? So all of my tools, but having the tools, and even though like I wrote GOGI up on his bed, telling him like, just, we're on positive thoughts, words, and actions right now. Like, a little bit of positivity in this hospital will go a long way with your nurse when you want to get moved, when you want to have something special, and they need to see that. They need to see that drive for something positive, because the opposite is, when we went in there, he was just saying he was done. He didn't want to live anymore. And I'm like, oh, wait up a minute. Those peaches look excellent right there on the thing. Like, I'm not hungry. And I was like, but that's like good sugar. And I know anybody opens up a thing of peaches, they're good. Right. So I just tried to like use positive actions, use my positive words, to express how it's a choice. We have a choice. We could sit here and we could be angry and frustrated and mad, or we could be hopeful and be grateful for the time. And having this opportunity is just amazing.
I know that all of us, even the viewers, are wishing the best for your father. And certainly, I know if I were laying in a hospital bed and somebody was there cheering me on like you are for him, I would be very grateful. So I'm certain he is grateful. And that's the beauty of the GOGI Life Tools, is that they do benefit not only your life, but the lives of people around you. Stacy, would you mind speaking to that? You're in a relationship with a teenager or your daughter, and how do the tools integrate in your daily life when you're working on developing a relationship, and has it improved with the GOGI Life Tools?
Well, yes, I use the GOGI tools every day with my daughter, especially. She's a teenager now, and well, I'd like to say, oh, there's less parenting now because she's older. That's not actually true. As it turns out, there's so much more parenting now that she's of this tricky age. And I have to be really careful how I respond to her and not be so reactive, because she's going to grow up in a minute and move out, and I want to have a relationship with my daughter when she's a grown-up. I don't ever want her to feel like I'm the crazy mom that she has to get away from.
How do you help then? How do you give me a specific example? Like, she said something and you wanted to say something. Give me a specific example that you remember, maybe something within the last 72 hours where you had to say, oh my gosh, I'm glad I got GOGI.
Okay, well, this was a little longer than 72 hours ago, but it is the latest. It was really shocking. And my reaction, of course, is very important in what I do, but thank goodness for the GOGI tools, because in using them over the last year or so, I've improved my relationship with my daughter so much that she can come to me and tell me, Mom, I got high, or which happened, or telling me about things that I really, as a mom, but things that she's progressed to doing with her boyfriend. And of course, my first reaction is to freak out and ground her, and you can't do that stuff, and I'm be super mad. And that's what I think my reaction might have been a year or so back. But now the belly breathing, the 5-second light switch, like all the tools of the body, really. And I can't be in the emotional part of my brain. I really got to be smart about this, in the things that I tell her, and help her navigate these teen years. And so, yeah, without the GOGI tools, I don't think we would be speaking right now, to be honest. she's got friends who have, I mean, the friends, I know, I've known what all the kids have been doing for a long time. And I'm glad that my daughter, number one, is not doing what a lot of the other kids are doing, and that when she does, she comes and she tells me so that I can give her reasons why, you know, you can't do that. And so I think that, you know, thanks to the GOGI tools and my reaction to it. I think we're getting over this, we're getting through it. So I've learned some things about my daughter and she's learned a few things about me, and I have to rein her in a little bit, but I know I have to, she's going to do things. She's going to do things that I don't want her to. She's going to do things that I did when I was her age that I don't want her doing.
Well, I'm so proud of you, Stacy, really, from the very beginning when you were referred to our GOGI meetings and how you've integrated it, and now how you're utilizing it to define your relationships is really extraordinary. And I know that any parent watching could only dream of being able to talk to their child and have their child say, Mom, I did this. And you're just present with them and you can talk logically and from the heart. And the GOGI tools got you to that position. So congratulations. I'm really proud.
And anyone out there, you know, if you have kids, you should be raising them with the GOGI tools for yourself, because like I was saying, my reactions and in the way I respond is everything when it comes to if it's going to be a battle or not a battle.
Yeah, beautiful. And on that subject of relationships, Coach Johnny, from the moment we've met a long time ago. You and I have been friends what seems like a lifetime, and I've watched the trajectory of your life. And you're a married man now, a married man who lives the GOGI way. And you were married to somebody who said, I don't know what GOGI is, I don't know. And now she happens to be in our offices. She's doing the GOGI where she went to Calipatre. She was talking to our students. How did that happen? Because I know there are a lot of men and women who love GOGI who say, how do I get my family involved? How do I do this? How did you kind of do it? You didn't demand anything. You had a different approach. Can you talk about GOGI and relationships?
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to meet her in high school. She wouldn't give me the time of day. That's a whole nother story. But what happened was she knew me in high school, walking around school with a gun. She heard when I went to prison at 17, and she met me while I was still in my criminal behavior while I was in prison. We had lost contact for about 6 years, and then we reconnected as friends. And she noticed something different about me. And for me, it was GOGI. It was understanding that I'm committed to something different today. I'm committed to being of service. I'm committed to living a life where I live life the GOGI way. And for me, I think it's like people see a difference and they're like, man, you seem happy and peaceful. And I'm not saying that life is always rainbows and unicorns. However, the way I relate to it is up to me. You know, when things do happen, you know, we had a couple of situations this week. Like you said, Coach, we got to go to Calipatre. When I was there, there was some feelings and things that were coming up from, you know, after spending 28 years. And you go back and you get to see people and you feel like you're almost leaving them. And but I get to use the tool, what if? Like, what if I get to be an example to them? What if I, you know, get to invite them into a conversation of transformation by using the GOGI tools?
You went into Calipatre. We saw, well, close to 200 men. How you felt leaving there was almost like you were abandoning them? Really? Because that had been your life for so long. Those had been your peers? Or can you explain that? Because there are many individuals who want to go back in and be of service. And I think your experience is different than mine. I leave all happy. I'm so excited because we've given them jet fuel. But you sitting right next to me and your wife and the other coaches, you're feeling like, wow, these are my family and I'm abandoning them. Can you talk for a moment about those feelings and how did you reconcile them?
So one is I check in with my purpose. Like, what is my purpose of being there? One is I remember sitting in those same chairs with the same clothes and seeing people come in and being inspired. So although I am leaving them, I'm leaving them with a gift. So I remember that. But sometimes I see some of the people who want transformation but don't know how to get it. And some people who have settled, I did for probably 20 plus years. And so did, I'm sure, Coach James at one time in our life. Like, we were comfortable being in prison and you find comfort being there. And when I leave, I want to make sure that I've touched people's heart and they know that somebody loves them. Because that's what somebody gave to us. So I do feel like the feeling of like, man, I don't want to leave them. But at the same time, I'm leaving them with a gift. And the gift is up to them. It's a choice. They can open it or they can, stash it under their bunk, whatever they want to do. But that's just one of the many feelings that I feel when I go. I'm sure you've experienced the same, as like you see some people and be like, yeah, they don't need to be here anymore.
Mhm.
And you get that experience of like, man, I want so much more for you, even for the people who don't want it for themselves at some time.
Yeah.
So there's a wide range of emotions and feelings. But the main feeling I feel is just gratitude, like being able to go and be an example to other people, invite them into a conversation, give them a gift, and give them what was given to me.
Well, the thing is, it wasn't always a very supportive environment at home. Your wife would say, why are you doing GOGI again? And you're doing GOGI again. Why are you going GOGI again? And now she's everywhere with us. How did that happen, Coach Johnny? Because that's the trajectory that people want in their lives. They want to introduce something positive and they want their whole family to be blessed by it. But it wasn't an easy road and it took time. Can you kind of talk about that?
So I think part of it is the commitment. So when I got out, you invited me into the mailroom a week later. And I was like, I'm going to make a commitment to do my best to make sure that every letter is answered within that week. Mail is crazy, things happen, but I do my best. And we have a team around us who are committed to answering letters from the letters that we get, hundreds of letters, sometimes a week. So I had that same experience when I married my wife in prison, and her family was like, why are you with this guy in prison? And what I told her is, when I first got out, they're like, yeah, we're going to go meet my family. What do you think? I'm like, I'm excited. And they're like, well, they don't like you. I'm like, well, they don't know me. And the opportunity is like, I get to change somebody's perspective. So as people see our commitments in life and they see the joy and the peace and the satisfaction that we get from them, they're like, I want what he has. Or I want what she has. I seen you walk into a room with over 100 men and break down walls and break down barriers and invite people into a conversation of living a life worth living. And once you see that, at first it's like, and I think sometimes too, people sometimes are afraid of change. And they're like, well, will they leave or will they go somewhere else? Or will they want to live this life without me? And the invitation is to invite them into that life. So like you said, she goes to prison. She tried to spend the night, a couple of cells one time. And, she does completions for us. And she gets the benefit. And even the drive was like 3.5 hours and it was long. But once we're there, she's like, oh my God, like I'm coming back. And I think that's the feeling that we get, is like you tap into a resource and you tap into your purpose in life. Like my purpose is to be of service to other people, like James was talking about, like Stacy does, like GOGI Mom does every Tuesday night, at 6 o'clock. So you tap into your purpose for being alive. And when you do that, you find ultimate freedom. So
Yeah.
that's the goal.
We're gonna talk to GOGI Mom, and then I want each of you to kind of do a little shout out or a message to the viewers. But GOGI Mom, I've watched your GOGI journey from the moment you were first introduced to us until now. And there was a time when you needed the tools for yourself so badly. I think it was maybe a combination of depression and anxiety and fear. Is James ever coming home? James is coming home. Now I'm fearful of that. And how do I make sure everything's okay? Talk to me about how you did relationship with yourself utilizing the GOGI tools. When you would get depressed, sad, anxious, uncertain, how did you help for your own development and the strength that now everybody knows you as GOGI Mom? Everybody relies on you to do these Zoom meetings and breakout rooms and trainings. It's really extraordinary what has happened. Can you talk a moment about relationship with self and how did that transpire?
Yes, thank you, Coach Taylor. And for those of you that are watching this that may not know, my son is Coach James. And he told me about GOGI in about 2015 or something, but I thought, I don't know what he's talking about, you know. And then along the line, as I would hear more and he would send, you know, things that the other men had drawn and everything, I was beginning to understand a little bit more about it. And then Coach Taylor invited me to join in on a Zoom Power Up. And I said, what's Zoom? And she had to like tutor me on what that was and how to get on. And at first I was super nervous. I was going to be on with people that I didn't know who they were. I didn't know if they were in prison, out of prison, relative prisoners. I didn't know. And I thought, I don't know, they're going to just criticize me, or not to my face, of course, but, you know, make up, you know, their stories about my story, et cetera, et cetera. So I was very emotional. And but boy, once I was on that for week after week, Sunday mornings, I think we did it at like 8 a.m. And then when it was done, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I was getting like free counseling. I was getting support me because I was a mother of an incarcerated person and they were helping me. And I was starting to learn what the tools meant. And my husband at that time was going through open heart surgery. And so I was having issues at home, issues wondering, and it was a roller coaster. Is James going to get paroled? Is he not? Yes, he was. Then they took it back. Now he's not. Now he is. And that was very anxiety driven for me and depression, like you say. But now and then I was thinking about when you asked some of the others about the last 72 hours, and I'm sorry, I really got emotional. My kid's dad is my ex-husband. It's been 37 years, but I don't want to see anybody die. And so it's been really bothering me these last 72 hours. And I have had to use belly breathing, 5-second light switch. Thank goodness I have a lake just a few steps from my house. And today I went out, walked around the lake, you know. And that's how I would never have used those tools before. I wouldn't have known about them. And before, I think what I would have done is I would have like gone to McDonald's and got a Big Mac and a hot fudge sundae and French fries, and I would drown myself with food because food always has been an issue for me in my life, and it has been a comfort for me. But now my GOGI tools are my comfort. And also I get a lot of comfort out of when someone gets out of prison and then Coach Taylor, you send me their contact and then I get to email to them and welcome them home. And then I'm the one that gets to say, do you know how to do a Zoom? No, but I saw you, GOGI Mom, on the institutional television. So this one man said, I already know you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I used to cry all the time on those. And he goes, no, but I feel like I know you. Okay, let's get on a GOGI Zoom, just the two of us. And so I really enjoy helping people learn about GOGI. I mean, nobody, you know, we don't know what we don't know. And until people introduce GOGI to others, we're kind of like lost human beings. We try the best we can. And I can identify a lot with Stacy as being the mom. I was the mom when I knew Stacy and James when they were in middle school, etc. And it's hard to be a parent. I think that's the hardest job you're ever going to love. But if I'd had the GOGI tools back when I was parenting my 3 children, I think things would have been a lot different.
Beautiful. I love hearing that. And it's just such a joy to watch you integrate GOGI into your life in such an intimate way that it benefits so many others. And I'm sorry for the illness that is now plaguing your family. I'm sorry about that. And I know all of us wish the very, very best, smoothest situation with great joy and harmony. So we all hope for that. I'd love to get James, Coach James, for you to do just one thought that you might want to share with somebody who's watching this particular video. What is that one thought?
If you're watching this right now, whether you're incarcerated or free, using these GOGI tools can set you free.
Great. Beautiful. Stacy, what about one thought from you? What is one thing that if somebody's sitting there just watching and said, okay, well, that was a good show, I really feel good, what do you want to say to them?
What I'd like to say is, I guess it's hard to say. When I started GOGI, I was really struggling hard with depression and anxiety, as well as, you know, being a solo parent of a young teenager. The GOGI tools can help you. They can help you regulate your own emotions. They can help you help your children. They could help you just be better at your job, be better at your parenting, be better at taking care of your own self and your own needs. So definitely look at the tools of GOGI.
Beautiful. Coach Johnny, do you have a little shout out message for our viewers?
Yeah, definitely. So they say the 2 most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you identify your purpose. And when you do GOGI, you identify your purpose. So the information is always there.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that. GOGI Mom.
Well, I would just sort of echo what everybody else has said. And I just really do know that it has helped me tremendously. And then thinking about the family members, my husband, he knows a lot about GOGI, but he doesn't want to be involved in GOGI. But when he had open heart surgery and they were taking out the tube that he had in for being intubated, and they said, Mr. Rolberg, how do you feel? Are you okay? Can you hear us? Et cetera, et cetera. And he goes, I'm the boss of my brain. And we just laughed, and the staff was like, I didn't know what he was talking about, but it gets through to people, even if you're just around them. And like Coach Johnny said, the way we act, the way we feel, the happiness we have, the freedom we have, it'll get there. But if you're watching this, just pick up a book or piece of paper around wherever you're at, or go to gettingoutbygoingin.org. And there's a lot of information there that you can download or just read right off of your computer.
Wonderful. We're going to end this now, and I'm going to recite the pledge. At the end of all GOGI meetings, we always recite our pledge of service, which sometimes is a dance of service, sometimes it's a song, sometimes it's a prayer. It's just our commitment to live in service. But the GOGI Pledge of Service was created by 34 women in the Los Angeles County Jail who believed that GOGI was going to be something extraordinary, not only in their lives, but in many, many millions of lives. They created this pledge of service to help unite us. So I am going to say it, and I want you to really listen. This is a pledge of service. So it goes like this. May our commitment to the study of GOGI grant us the joy of giving and receiving so that our inner freedom can be of maximum service to those we love and infinite others. And that's how we close our GOGI meetings. So we're going to close our meeting today with everybody just waving goodbye. Bye, everyone.
G-O-G-I, G-O-G-I. GOGI told me this, I got to do it. G-O-G-I, G-O-G-I. GOGI told me this, I got to do it. G-O-G, GOGI told me